Hi, you guys. So we are going to do a virtual lab. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to do some of the demos and parts of it with you. But what you're going to need to get out is, and if you did not come to school to grab this, then you need to pause this video for right now. Look under the Unit 2 Now reference tabs, and you need to print up this packet. So this packet is labeled as packet number 1. It's BP1 packet. We are looking in this packet at something that's called the kinetic molecular theory and how that gives rise to the different states of matter. So how we're going to start this, all of this will be blank for a while because we're actually going to start with the activity. And then we'll come back and we'll look at the notes and fill in some notes once we do a little bit of a investigation to see what we might learn about what this thing that's called kinetic molecular theory and how that gives rise to solids, liquids, and then gases. So what I would like for you to do is find page 6 in this packet. So this is what page 6 looks like. It's labeled Activity, the Milky Way. And not because we're going to go on a trip out into the universe, but we're going to look at milk in a way that you have never looked at it before. So if you were in my classroom right now, and if life was a little more normal, I literally would have gotten some milk from the lunchroom, some of those little milk cartons. And I would have used a special dye that would make milk get stained. And it's a pink dye. It doesn't look under the microscope pink because our microscopes don't pick up color. But it allows us to see the fat globules that are in milk. So all milk has some amount of fat in it, even skim milk. But I like to use whole milk because whole milk is going to have a whole lot more fat than skim or 2% or something like that. So if you were in my normal classroom, we would do that. We literally would look at milk under the microscope, and I'm going to show you a video of what you actually would have seen. So I'm going to go to presenting my screen. And I'd like to pull up this video, and I haven't pushed play yet. So you literally will be observing. And before I push play, follow where my black mouse is here, my little cursor. These bigger circles are milk fat. Okay, so if you look on page 6 in your handout where I have labeled oil and fat are the same classification as far as we're concerned right now. So all of these really big circles that you can see all throughout, any circle you see, that's milk fat. Now, smaller that the microscope cannot pick up in the background of all of this is going to be water molecules. And so on my drawing on page 6, you see these clear circles that I drew. What I want you to do as I push play is I want you to watch what is occurring. This is literally what you guys would have seen if you got to look at this under the microscope. So notice how we are seeing the fat globules, the bigger oil droplets, they are shaking back and forth. And invisible to our eyes are tinier water molecules that are in there. Now, this is just some of the pigment. Whenever we continue to see this video, you guys wouldn't have seen this piece. I don't really even like this part, but I did not get to make this video. So these are some of the pigments that we were using in doing this. I do want to press, I want it to go, let's see if it's going to let me yeah, there we go. Hold on one second. So let's take a look at this again. And again, what I'm wanting you to pay attention to is these circles and how they're shaking back and forth, and realize that smaller than we can see are tiny little water molecules that are in there. Okay, tiny little water molecules, and everything's moving. If anything is above what you're going to learn to be absolute zero, all things are moving. So what I want you to do on your packet right now for page 6, and let me get back to my screen so I can stop presenting. But if we look at this picture, I want you to add arrows and lines and whatever you might add to show what it looked like that this oil droplet was doing. Each one of those oil droplets, the one that you saw. And because I just told you that everything moves, all atoms move. The chair you're sitting on have atoms that are making up that chair. They move. But these water molecules then were moving. I want you to make a prediction of the pattern of how you think those move as well. So this is just going to be an arrow prediction and line prediction, trying to demonstrate what you saw. Then if you look at this next part, it says, why do we see this? Okay, now the thinking begins. You, this time it's just going to be you, not you and your lab partner, but you and your lab partner, through drawings and diagrammings, we want you to try to explain why you're seeing what you're seeing. So I want you to try to explain what you think is going on up here, and you're going to make a claim. Okay, there's water. There's actually even tiny little protein molecules that are in there. And those things are so small, you could not see those on the microscope. That microscope was 40 power. That was it. So I want you to come up with a claim. Then I would like for you to Snapchat, FaceTime, whatever it might be, text, I don't care, but someone else. It doesn't even have to be somebody else in this particular physical science class, but it would have to be somebody else that has me as a teacher, because I don't know if the other teachers do this. But I want you to share with them what your idea is, why you think it is what it is. So you're going to get off of this video or push pause for a second, and you're going to share with them, each other, what your idea is. Why do you think you see what you see? And then if we look on the back side of this, I would like for you to write the name of who you visited. You only need to pick one other friend. So I picked Joe Jr., and I'm going to snap Joe Jr. I'm going to say, here's what my thoughts are. And from that, I would like for you to come up with a question you might ask them about what they shared with you. And I want you to come up with a response to that question that they asked you. So what's a question that they ended up asking you about this and your claim? And then what's your response to that claim? So it's giving you a chance to defend your claim, might make you rethink about your claim. But we're starting to begin this investigation of, why do we see things at this molecular level? What is going on where we can only see the macro effect, but what's happening at a level that our eyes cannot see? Because there is movement, there is things happening. Let's predict what we're seeing with that pattern. Okay, now I'm going to have you push pause after all of that. And I have a couple more investigations that's going to take us through this class and the next. But in between, one of the things I want you to look up is this definition. So if we look a little closer, you're being asked to find the definition of the kinetic molecular theory of matter. So before you begin the next mini activity that involves the bottom of page 7, I want you to be finding, and you'll have to Google search it, just the kinetic molecular theory of matter, what that definition is. All right, so I'm going to push pause for now, and then we will get you going with the next activity very soon. We'll talk to you later.